Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12, The Siege. Welcome, everybody. Before I get started, let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does, it takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library just for you. Also, if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there and all the links that I have on there too. So I have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tiers set on the Patreon. I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers before I start taking any money from you guys. And I also have links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Let's get to it. Spoiler alert. I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. All right. So, yeah. Yeah, Raymond, this episode made a lot of people happy. So what we had here was Mando going back to Navarro, mainly to get the ship repaired after that Mon Calamari fuck up that they did, basically where they just kind of wired his shit together with fishing nets and sent him out into space. Um, so he really needs the ship fixed so he can get to Corvus. So he meets up, of course, with Grief Karga and Cara Dune. And Cara Dune is now the marshal there at Navarro, and they're cleaning up the planet pretty nicely. Except for one little thing. There's an Imperial base that's a skeleton crew base, supposedly, and they need to take that place out, and that'll be the last of the Imperial remnants. That means the entire planet will be safe at that point. So Grief says, "Hey, can you come and help us out, and we'll help you out with your ship?" And Mando's like, "Well, fuck, all right, we'll do it." So they end up taking another person that we saw in the very first episode of the very first season, Mithral. This was the guy that Mando had taken and frozen in carbonite. He now works for Grief Karga as a clerical, basically a clerk is what he is. But also he does all kinds of stuff. And he owes Grief basically for all of his debt that he's got. He's got 320 years of debt in order to pay off at that point at whatever rate he's going at. So they find out that base is fully functional. Yeah. And not only that, that base is not just a supply base or anything like that. It's a fucking laboratory. So Dr. Pershing, who we also saw from the first season, is still alive, of course. No one killed him. Mando didn't kill him, of course. And he sent out word to Grand Moff Gideon that they, of course, need more. They've run out of blood, the blood that he took from the child, Baby Yoda, the child, and he needs more of it at this point in order to continue whatever experiments he's been working on. And as he puts it, the M count in whatever he's been doing was kind of low. M count, of course, being for midichlorians. Yes, we have midichlorians coming back into the lexicon here, which honestly I'm okay with, to tell you the truth. I know a lot of people hated the midichlorians from the episode 1 of the Phantom Menace. I thought it was okay, quite honestly. And Mando also learns that Grand Moff Gideon is still alive because he thought he was dead at this point. And he's like, oh, fuck. Okay, so he's still after us too. And we see these tanks of failed experiments, I guess you could say. And some people keep saying they look like Snoke, that this might be the precursor to Snoke. And I have to disagree with this one. I think this goes more into the Dark Trooper project. So the Dark Trooper project, I'll get into it a little bit here. Let me finish off the episode. So they end up, of course, blowing up the base and skedaddling out of there. and the Imperials follow them, of course, and they handily wipe them up. But we find out at the very end that there was an operative, Grand Moff Gideon's operative, is on Navarro. He was one of the people fixing the ships and planted a tracker on the Razor Crest as the Razor Crest have taken off and is going on its way back to Corvus. So some bad shit's about to happen, most likely, because Grand Moff Gideon knows that they are still around and that they've got a tracker on them now. So yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I saw that article about, people saying, "Oh, it's the precursor to Snoke," and all this stuff, that the test subjects in the tank look like Snoke. And it's like, no, they were all different sizes. These are people that were being experimented on. They basically were using some of the town populace to inject. Because if you listen to Dr. Pershing, he says they injected the blood into these test subjects, and that it held the blood okay for a while, and then all of a sudden something happened where it went bad, and it went wrong. My guess is that Grand Moff Gideon is trying to make force sensitive stormtroopers, or force sensitive. Maybe he's even trying to do it for himself as well, so that he can control the dark saber a little bit better. But there's also the Dark Trooper project as well, which had 3 stages to it, or 3 phases to it: a phase 1, phase 2, and a phase 3. And basically what it was, Darth Vader is essentially the precursor for the Dark Trooper project, or he's the first test subject, I guess you could say. Second test subject, anyway. So phase 1 was basically the bones of it, if you will, whereas phase 2 was a little bit more like battle droids in a way. They're larger and bulkier, and phase 3 we never really got to tell you the truth. It was supposed to be like a bigger, almost battle droid in a way, but it almost says exosuit for soldiers. And I'm guessing this is part of all of that as well. I'm not sure. This is all speculation. Vader clones, I highly doubt it. I don't even think there's any clones in this, Raymond, because Pershing was saying that he injected the blood into these individuals to raise their M counts. And it worked okay for a while, and then their bodies rejected it, and bad shit happened. I actually had it on the big screen, and I was looking at one of the ones that Mando was looking at, and it looks like the entire shoulder. It almost looked kind of like Akira when the body starts mutating and elongating and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know for sure. But he worked on Camino, right? I don't know. Did Pershing work on Camino? I don't know if he did or not. They never really said that much about him. So, yeah, we don't know for sure what this is. We just know it's bad because Grand Moff Gideon's involved in all of this. And he's got a tracker aboard the ship. Oh, I didn't see that he had the symbol on his uniform. I didn't see that. Interesting. Okay. Possibly. I mean, he could be dabbling in clone works. We don't know. Again, with the information that we're given, we're not given that much. We'll find out. That's the whole joy of all of this. We're only in episode 4 of a what is it, 10 episode series? Is that right? I believe it's 10 episodes. Excuse me. Or is it 8? It's 8 episodes, right? Yeah, it's 16. So yeah, it's 8 episodes. I take that back. So we're halfway through. We were halfway through the season already. Man. And of course, next week, episode 5 is written and directed by Dave Filoni. So good chance, I would say it's at least 150% chance of Ahsoka Tano. Yeah. And if we have the tracker going on, maybe we have some stormtroopers coming on the way to and get slicing up by some lightsaber action there. Yes, that TIE fighter chase was great. I loved also Mythrol talking about the mint condition of the troop transport carrier. and he calls it by the name of what the troop transport carrier is, which of course any Star Wars toy collector knows that a mint condition one of those is worth a shit ton of money. And that's why I thought it was kind of funny that Cara Dune just bangs the shit out of that thing, and I mean takes it off the platform. They go flying down. That was actually a really good chase scene. So, and also, by the way, this episode was directed by Carl Weathers and did an excellent job of this. Man, he there was a couple of shaky camera movements in some of the scenes I was like not okay with, but for the rest of it, it was damn good. They did a good job on this. And you knew the child was going to throw up after that whole thing. I would have, but having him with his arms up, like, yeah, and they're blowing up the TIE fighters and all that kind of stuff. The child is us, essentially, at that point. Yes, I did like he called that Mithril call it there's no handrails. There's no handrails on these things. Yeah, you're standing over a fucking, pit of lava and there's no handrails. Come on. That's some workplace injury waiting to happen right there. You wonder if they had a sign, hanging up there. It's been so many days since a workplace accident. And of course they'd have it hanging like in some really weird place to get to. So whoever's hanging up the number signs is falling to their death into the lava. But yeah. But good episode. Lots of fun. We got some stormtroopers killed out of all of this. We had some speeder bikes too, which were awesome. We had the TIE fighters. Man, we had a lot of stuff in this episode. And it was a short episode, but still, I mean, it wasn't as short as last week's with Bo-Katan, but yeah. So I am thinking of actually doing for those of you who don't know who Ahsoka Tano is, I'm thinking of putting together a video as to who in the hell is Ahsoka Tano. So everyone who hasn't watched everything and read the books and all that kind of stuff knows who she is. They get a little update on there without having to go through, more hours, unless you really want to, which is a good thing to do. Going through the animated Clone Wars series, animated Rebels series, and of course reading the Ahsoka Tano book, which I don't have sitting up there. It's in the other room, which also tells you how she got her white lightsabers and the difference between what the hell is a white lightsaber and a red lightsaber and how those come about. I'll talk all about that, I believe. Raymond says, all the trailer footage has now been seen. It's all new stuff from here. That's right. That's right. We only got the first half of the season in the trailers. So we're going to see what happens next. And come on. I mean, Dave Filoni writing and directing an episode, we know it's going to be badass. We do know this. I am so excited for next week's episode. And of course, it happens right after Thanksgiving. It's on Black Friday. So, while you're getting shut out of not getting your PS5s and Xbox, new Xboxes and all that kind of stuff online, you can watch this instead. Simple as that. I say that bitterly because I had a PS5 sitting in my fucking cart at Walmart. And because they were dilly-dallying on my address, then they said, oh, this thing is no longer available. I'm like, it's in my fucking cart. It was there. I had it. Yeah. What are you going to do? But I digress. So what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow, I'm off because it's my birthday tomorrow. So I figured I'd fucking take that thing off. Sunday is where I've moved Saturday morning blast off to Sunday. So it's going to be Sunday morning blast off. Monday will be his Dark Materials. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I'm going back and forth. Do I want to do... Well, I'm probably going to do Animaniacs, the Hulu Animaniacs new series. Because, yeah, we're going to need to talk about that. Wednesday, I'll be off. Thursday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I've got a few things in mind. I'll put it up on the schedule. And then we roll back around to Friday with The Mandalorian featuring Ahsoka Tano. That's where we're going to be on next Friday. So yeah, good stuff, man. I mean, so it's anybody's guess at this point. If it's clones, if it's stormtroopers, if it's just an experiment in order to give himself more power, because we do know from Star Wars Rebels that Caleb was actually talking about this, that if you are wielding the dark saber, any user of a lightsaber, or has to become, basically they become attached to this kyber crystal within it. Even if they don't have any force sensitive capabilities, everyone has the force within them, is what we've always been told. And Caleb even says this. He goes, yes, the more you use the saber, he's teaching Sabine Wren how to use the dark saber. And he says, the more you use the saber, the lighter it becomes, because you become more in tune with it and it with you. And I'm wondering if this is what Grand Moff Gideon is doing, is to gain force sensitive abilities so that he can actually use that dark saber even more, or not. Also, I have a theory out there, which I posited last night. I was talking about this last night, that Mandalore, how Mandalore got taken over, was Sabine Wren in Rebels. Was we learned that she actually ended up creating a machine for the Empire. This is when she was working for the Empire, which she called the Duchess. And this machine essentially was a ion cannon in a way, only it reached far and wide, and it was drawn to Beskar armor, and it would fry the person who was wearing the armor and the armor itself, turning it brittle and cracking. And I'm wondering if he has somehow revived that project, even though our group from Rebels supposedly has wiped out all the plans on that. We know that normally isn't the case, that people have multiple files and whatnot. Yeah. Did you catch the IG 11? The IG 11 memorial on Navarro? No, I did not. And by the way, I have a new guest right here. It's IG 11. You could probably aren't able to see him all that well, but yes, he just came in last night. As a matter of fact, he's right there, right next to Sabine Wren. And Ahsoka Tano's right there. There we go. Raymond says, so Mando will have to be nerfed and be forced to take off his armor. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, Raymond. And that's how he ends up having to reveal his face. So that's my prediction for this, is what's going on. And bo-katan already has experience with this, because she has experienced this machine firsthand when she was with Sabine Wren in Rebels. And she knows exactly what that fucker feels like. So I'm sure there's going to be something that comes about from that. But I'm sure that's how he took over Mandalore. There was no other way. The Death Star wasn't involved, because the Death Star only took out whatever that planet was from Rogue One, the first one, because that was retconned in. But originally, the only planet it ever took out was Alderaan. That was it. And the Death Star 2 never became fully functional. Well, it was fully functional, but it never traveled any place to go and take out any planets. And of course, this is before Starbase, Starkiller Base ends up coming online, because we're 30 years, 25 years ahead of all of that. It's hard to keep the timeline straight in this sometimes. But yeah, we're only 5 years after the Battle of Endor. That's where we're at in Mando. So, thank you, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go for the day, the afternoon, the evening, whatever time frame it is where you're at. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. And while you're down there, if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. take a look at the schedule that's up there. Also, all the links to my social media are there and all the links to my pages. So, this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Everyone's kind of quiet, but yeah, I know I'm a little bit early. So, I was off today and I was doing some stuff, and I figured I'd start in a little bit earlier, but also give you guys enough time to watch the episode. So that's why I came in a little bit earlier. But right now, I'll let you guys go back to whatever you're doing. I'll return you to your regularly up-seated, upright positions. So until Sunday, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be in a free fall and having to take out that TIE fighter that's coming right at you, because that's what you got to do. You're in the Razor Crest, motherfucker. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys on Sunday. Until then, take care, be well, stay safe, and wear a mask. Talk to you later. Have a good day. Night.